One question that I get a lot is, how am I able to find time to pursue my passions while I'm in school, while I'm studying a lot and getting good grades? And the reason is, truthfully, I don't actually study that much. Because I'm able to take really good notes and retain information the first time around, because of a number of principles that I've developed in taking those notes, I'm able to spend less time studying later on because I already know the material. And so I want to share some of those principles with you so that hopefully you can reap the same benefits. That is, you can study less and spend more time pursuing your passions and the things that make you excited, whether that be in school or outside. You could be going above and beyond with your studies, or you could be pursuing something like YouTube. So one of the first things that you need to do is you need to put away all of the screens that you have with you. If you have your phone on you, turn it off and put it in your bag. And definitely don't be taking notes on an iPad or on a laptop. This is kind of weird because we hear a lot of marketing pushing that. A lot of people buy laptops specifically for the case of taking notes on them in school, or iPads. I mean, Apple just released an iPad with that as one of the primary selling features. But the studies are very clear that if you're using an electronic device to take notes, then you're not going to be retaining the information as well. And we're trying to maximize the amount of information that we retain the first time. This kind of makes sense if you think about it, because screens are inherently built to distract you. They're colorful, they're bright, and when you're being distracted like that, you're being pulled away from the information that you're trying to comprehend. So with that in mind, it's pretty obvious why you want to minimize the amount of colors, bright things, etc. You just want to be writing in pencil on paper. You don't want to be focusing too much on crazy bright lights and colors, because that's pulling your attention away from the actual purpose here. So one of the big things that I see a lot of people doing when they're taking notes is they write down literally just everything that the professor is saying, or whatever they're writing on the board, whatever's on their PowerPoint, without taking a moment to think about it. Now the reason that this is bad is because when you're actually in a test scenario, or when you're actually doing work, your brain is recalling your mental model of the information. And so if your mental model of the information is just what you wrote on paper, it's not very strong, because you don't actually have an understanding of it, because you only remember the words. You don't realize the interactions and so on. But if you create your own mental model while you're listening, if you think, okay, how does this work? How does it actually function? And then you paraphrase this understanding onto paper, now you only need to remember your mental model, and you've already built an understanding of the concept. So what this means is that even though you're writing less, you're retaining more, and more than that, you're retaining fuller information, which will help you because you'll keep that understanding for a longer time and you'll be able to apply it better. So a final thing that you should be doing while you're writing down these notes is you should be consciously aware of what are the key points that the professor is going to be making here. That is, I know the title of the lesson, or I know kind of what the crux of this lesson is going to be. And so have we reached a point that seems like it's going to be incredibly important? And when you reach one of those points, just take the note in a different color, in a different pen. I use pencil and black pen. That's what I do. So if I reach an important point, like for example, if we've been working through a proof and we finally get to the end and we get an equation, I'll write the equation in pen. And that way, when I'm going back through my notes later when I'm studying, I can look at, okay, what were the conclusions? And then usually if I see the conclusion, because I've built the mental model like we were saying before, I can remember how to get there. If not, I can look at it, I still have the note there. But I don't have to spend all of this time reading through everything that I wrote down, because the main points are out there highlighted, easy to see. And this is actually pretty important as well, because it focuses your attention more on those moments where you can say, okay, this seems like a key point, I better be really focused right now. And you have a trigger for that, which is writing in pen, writing in marker, highlighter, whatever it is. So I wanted to jump in at the end of the video here and just make a point that note-taking is a highly individualized process. That is, what exactly works for me might not exactly work for you. And Even things across subjects. I don't take notes the same way in math and in English and in science classes. It just wouldn't make sense. But I think that these principles can apply to any subject for any person. But I'd be really interested to hear what you had to say in terms of what helps you in your specific subjects or in general with your note-taking. So feel free to leave a comment about that. But back to the video. So hopefully applying these principles to your note-taking will help you absorb information the first time around, making it possible for you to spend more time pursuing your passions and going above and beyond with your studies. And what better way to go above and beyond with your studies than with Brilliant.org. So if you actually want to learn how to solve real problems, then just doing the same homework problems over and over won't help you very much. You need to develop critical thinking skills and a problem-solving toolkit, and that's where Brilliant.org comes in. Brilliant.org has an amazing assortment of interesting math and science problems and courses to dive into at many skill levels. I'm currently working through a course on artificial neural networks, and it's amazing. One of the things that I love about Brilliant.org is that every question is thoughtfully posed to teach you something. And if you don't understand, there are hints and solutions to guide you along. It's really an excellent way to grow your mental toolkit and problem-solving skills. So if you're interested in signing up for Brilliant.org, check out the link in my description where you can sign up for free. And also, if you decide that you want to upgrade to their annual plan, the first 200 of my viewers will actually get 20% off. So if you're interested in seeing more content about school and about growth in general, just about my path to trying to get better as a person, then I definitely recommend subscribing to the channel. And if you want to hear more about my upcoming projects, like the growth book that I have releasing soon, then subscribe to my newsletter. The link for that is in the description of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.